Alrighty, folks, welcome into the live show of the What the Futures podcast. Of course, recorded each and every week in the UPL studio. I hope you're having an outstanding Tuesday here, an outstanding Tuesday. A little later than normal, but hey, 1:30 Mountain, why not? Why not? We've got big sporting day. We got a Blue Jays game later today. And I'm not going to say anything else. I don't want to jinx it any further than that. So looks like a bit of a later start for that Blue Jays game. Markets today, spring wheat lost just under a nickel, 4.5 cents, something like that. Canola gained a little bit of traction, up about 7.5 on the NOV contract, up 770 on the January. So there we go. A little bit of positivity here in that canola market. This, folks, it's the time of year. Like, if I think about it, the farm finished up harvest, wrapped up harvest on Friday, late enough Friday, like after supper Friday, right? And so obviously the work doesn't end. Everybody needed to take a couple days off though, just to start to process what some call the harvest hangover. And so I think everyone took about a 3-day weekend, just kind of recharge, maybe tinker on a few things, and then there's fall work to do. It's 22 degrees Celsius where I'm at this afternoon, and so it's a beautiful fall day. There's beautiful fall weather until what, the weekend? This could be a hoax, but I'm positive that I saw somewhere someone drew a line across Saskatchewan and said on the east side of this line, there's going to be so many centimeters of snow falling here by the end of the Thanksgiving weekend, which I'm not ready yet, folks. I'm not ready yet. Okay. Selfishly, I want to keep going. In fact, I'm going to do my first round of golf in like 20 minutes here. As soon as I get off this live show, I'm heading to the golf course. All righty. All right. I wanted to chat conference applications for just a second because I did make an error last week, I believe on the Friday show. I said that the application deadline was Thanksgiving Monday, and that was false. It's actually on Friday, October 17th. That is going to be our application deadline. And so, Ryan, why the heck do you have an application deadline? Well, like, this is where it sits, October 7th, 1:30 in the afternoon Mountain. We have 25 tickets left. Okay. We have 8 applications outstanding. So maybe that's 8 tickets. Maybe it's 10. Maybe it's 12. I don't know. I'll call it 8. But if I got later today, if I got another 10 applications or so, 15 applications, like, we would be shutting down the application process. So I do have a deadline here of October 17th, but I want to just let you know that as soon as that we kind of get to that soft spot where I'll at least pause applications, we'll just say, whoa, pump the brakes here, and let's see where we sit. Give everyone a day or two to buy their tickets, and then see where we stand after that. Again, we went back to the venue and we said, hey, just send us another updated map where everyone's sitting. We want to make sure that everyone's got a spot and that we've got everybody comfortable. And every time I do that, I lose a couple more seats. So, but we want everyone to be comfortable. All right. Now, if you've been waiting for the agenda, some folks have been waiting for the agenda. I get it. I get it. You want to see what you're signing up for. The agenda is going to be released to what the Futures email subscribers. It's going to go out Wednesday, October 8th, later on in the day, probably early evening. Okay. And so I've already told you, we check in is Tuesday, December 9th, 2 to 5. We're going to do conference registration, kickoff parties presented by What the Futures. That's going to be Tuesday night. Wednesday, hot breakfast. We get going, right? A full day from 7:30 a.m. We start with breakfast. I wrap it up with Ryan's positive moments and the 2026 conference announcement. We're going to run it back, folks. Different town in 2026. 5:00, 5:15. We wrap up that first day. Thursday, we got going same time again. We got going nice hot breakfast, 7:30 a.m. And we are going to wrap up right around 4:00 Thursday. So we're talking about 5 keynote speakers, 2 panel discussions, 2 I don't know, they're before breakfast or not before breakfast, before the conference kicks off, we have these 4 like early sessions for you to check out. Breakouts, we have 4 breakouts as well, 3 sessions at each breakout. So I can't stress it enough, folks. We have a packed agenda. All right, panel discussions. We've got gangster crop marketing. That's actually on the second day. The first day is going to be AI and its role. I said role in crop marketing, but it might be a role in farm business. All right. So agenda, that's going to get emailed out. If you are subscribed to the What the Futures podcast email list, you're going to get that Wednesday evening. There are, as of 1:30 on Tuesday, October 7th, I'm saying 25 tickets left. All right. I think I'm slightly generous on that number. I think it's a bit less than that. And applications, we will pause them. The deadline's October 17th. We will pause them, though, when we get to that level where there's enough out there to fill that room. So you are on, the clock is ticking. All right. I said last week, I don't think we're going to sell out here in the next 2 weeks. Well, I might have to walk that back. I would be surprised if we're not sold out by October 17th. I really would be. But, we'll see. All right, you guys, I'll talk crop markets in a second. You're doing fantastic, though, with the harvest hustle. I got an email from Jessica earlier this week saying, Ryan, we're about 60% done. We farm east of Calgary. I got a message from Bob and Cheryl out of Manitoba. They said, Ryan, we've got canola to go. We have a demon of an oat crop out there that we have to tackle. So wish us luck. So I get it, folks. You're still out there. You're still grinding. You're still doing the hard work. But the Harvest Hustle contest, the deadline, and again, you guys have picked this way up. The deadline's October 20th. All right, Monday, October 20th. We'll say midnight on that day, or 11:59 p.m. on that day, and on October 20th, and that will be the cutoff. All right, I'm not telling you we're announcing the winner that day. That's just the cutoff to get in. Again, this is for a trip to Halifax, the Canadian Olympic Curling Trials. You see the best of the best in Halifax. Whoever wins this event on the men's side, on the ladies' side, gets to go to the Olympics. All right. You get to go to every draw, VIP, 3 meals a day, hotels covered, flights are covered. And I think you should have some fun with this. I think you should do it as a bit of a family thing. All right. If that's too much curling for you, there's lots to see in Halifax. Maybe bring a few friends with you, or some family members. Kyle Gibson from Ag I3 is going to join me on Friday's podcast. He's got a little chauffeur thing lined up for us. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the latest at Ag I3. All right, RyanDenis.ca. Click on contests. That's how you get your entries in. October 20th is the cutoff there. Throwing a lot of dates at you today, right? Conference application deadline, October 17th. Harvest Hustle deadline, October 20th. All right, lots coming at you. All right, so it's been busy, harvest, all that stuff, fall work, but it's also just extremely important that you take a moment, take an afternoon, and figure out your crop marketing plan for this winter. Okay, it's I'd call it like there's some like basis sensitivity out there. Like there's some regions of the prairies where basis going into 2026 is awful. Absolute trash. Okay. And some areas it's not as bad. It's okay. It's somewhat competitive, but it's tough out there in a lot of areas. I call it like basis sensitivity. And will basis improve? It will, especially in the late winter and spring. It will. But you need a bit of that demand to come in. You need that export demand to come in, because right now there's a little tiny bit of export demand, but everything is getting filtered to your crush plants. And today, Bungie, Fort Saskatchewan, yesterday, December had room and capacity. This morning, December full, right? I heard Cargill Clavette was shipping rail cars. This is like maybe second or third hand information, but shipping rail cars to Camrose. Cargill phoned the farmers from delivering in Camrose, phoned some of my clients and said, hey, sorry, you were on the schedule. We got to push you back now. We're pushing you back a couple of weeks. It's frustrating. It's getting frustrating there across the prairies. Is it going to snow this weekend? I didn't look hard enough to see. But what I want to say is that winter, it gets harder, right? It gets harder. Rail gets more difficult. Um, it isn't easier, right? So you got to throw winter into the mix here eventually. Hopefully not this weekend, but eventually. So you got to take time to figure out your crop marketing. I think about wheat. I got a message from Barry earlier, I guess on the weekend maybe, saying, "Hey, I got a chance to move out some wheat here, like 7 1/4. They need it for a train right now. Should I do it?" Well, my answer is yeah, you should do it. I know nobody wants to hear that. I know it's frustrating, but yeah, you should do it because in other parts of the prairies, those specials or the movement opportunities are now kicked into next year. They're winter. Talked to one farm earlier today. They said, "Yeah, we don't have any like better pricing until March." Well, that doesn't work for everybody if you need to pay bills in January, December, January, February, right? So you got to take some time for your farm business, for yourself and your farm business to just figure out exactly where you stand on when do you need to get the work done? When do I need to move this out? Do I have grain bags out there? Do I have a pile out there? A side note, I once saw a pile of canola. Very rare to see someone pile canola, but I was driving across Alberta and I stumbled upon this large pile of canola. And I can't remember the exact value of that pile. But I want to say canola was like $10 at the time. And that thing was big. But I don't know if it was 50, 500,000, 50,000 bushels. I'm not sure. But you rarely, rarely see that. Anyways, if that was sitting out there on your farm, you'd have to make a plan on that right now. So all I'm saying here, folks, is that you have to take time to figure this out because it in my opinion, it's going to be a little more challenging here. And so far, we're up against the ropes here a little bit. We're not really, we're not playing by our farm's rules right now. We're kind of subject to the grain company out there, the elevator. I said it on the show the last month. Like, go buy your grain buyer or make them a homemade apple pie, or if they like root beer, buy them a root beer, something. I think I said like a Boston cream donut. Like, cheer them up a little bit, get on their good side because moving grain this winter, I don't know. I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle out there. No, I have been wrong. I have to say this too. I've been wrong. I was worried about wheat movement. I was worried about yellow peas falling off a cliff here after those first trains. I was completely out to lunch. Wheat movement is phenomenal. We've had more yellow pea demand. In fact, uh, recommending some yellow pea sales here, gaining a buck from the harvest low. So I've been wrong. All right. So maybe I'll be wrong on us moving grain here this winter. Now, canola. So again, I'm not a big fan of doing basis contracts. Normally, I would not do any basis contracts, but if you need to secure delivery, basis is one way to do that. And if you need to secure delivery before Christmas, then you better get on it and get after it. You can have a futures rally. The market, maybe bean oil was up bean oil was up 1% today, maybe, and canola was up 1%. Like, you can have reasons to rally. Maybe the harvest low was established here last week. Maybe that 590 something, maybe that was it, right? You might get a little bump here. I'm not saying the market's cruising higher now for the rest of winter, though. But if you lock in your basis, get your delivery, allow your futures, some time, maybe a little bit of a balance of 20, 30, 40 bucks a ton. It could be crazier. I'm not trying to get bullish, but I'm trying to put myself in a frame of mind where I can execute the delivery of this commodity, this stuff, get it delivered when I want to get it delivered, and then figure out strategies to you know, remain in this market when it does rally. It will rally. So when it does rally, what can I do? What can I have lined up? I have to change my thinking. I have to rewire my brain a little bit because the last like 2 months I've been thinking harvest low, harvest low, harvest low, trying to find a harvest low. Like when doing everything, managing strategies around a harvest low. Now I'm thinking, all right, harvest low. Is it here? Was it here? Is it coming very shortly? Now rewire your brain for strategies to figure out how to sell some of this stuff and participate in upside. All right, how to move it, participate in upside. All right. The other thing too with wheat, again, folks, you may have to look a little bit outside of your normal delivery zone. I'm not seeing anything that quite pencils out yet, but I am seeing like spot trains, and some of those spot trains resulting in a higher price where it could pull wheat from a decent distance. All I'm saying is, draw your normal circle, maybe draw another delivery circle around that and just check in on those prices because it might surprise you. I know you don't want to spend more time in the truck than you have to, but if you're being paid to be in that truck, if you're being paid to haul that a little further and it's not that much more wear and tear, then yeah, it could make sense. All right. And then yellow peas we already talked about. Again, I'm calling this about a buck, maybe a buck 25 off the lows of harvest. Um, I have I'd call it a dandy yellow pea average already from a price perspective. So maybe one more sale here. Not selling the rest, maybe one more to lower my average a little bit, but I'm in good shape. Okay. And I'm sure you are as well. All right, folks. On Friday's episode of the What the Futures podcast, I've got Tyler Yaremchuk joining me. He's coming over from the Nation Network. It's actually not a crop marketing topic. We're going to talk NHL hockey this week on the What the Futures podcast. We're going to mix it up a little bit. All right. Tyler hosts his own, a couple different shows, actually, Daily Faceoff being one of them. And then James Mitchell, you guys want more fertilizer talk. So we're going to have James from Crop Management Network. We're just trying to find a time to record. Fingers crossed that we will. I'm sure we will. And we'll have him on Friday's episode. We're going to talk 2026 crop rankings. Why not throw some of that at you? All right. Incomplete data coming in, but we'll try. We'll get started. And what else do we have for Positive Friday? One other thing, post-harvest crop marketing plan. We're got to dive a little more into that. All right. It is that time of year. So do me a favor. Go to the whatthefuturespodcast.ca website, click the voicemail button, and just make a declaration. You send a voicemail, it's coming to me, but you basically say, Ryan, my name is Farmer A. I am sitting down to make my post-harvest crop marketing plan. That's all you have to do. Don't give us any details on it. We don't need to know your break-evens or anything like that. Just the declaration that you're going to sit down and figure this stuff out. All right? If you do that, you'll get entered in to win our October prize, which I think is sponsored by the Lunchbox crew this month. And it is, I still don't have it, but it's like my UPL Lite, but it's a little John Deere tractor. All righty. So it's going to be pretty cool. I got one coming as well. It'll be up on this side, beside my new plant. That's my fern. Still haven't named it, but a little bit of a nod to one of my favorite shows between two ferns with Zach Galifianakis. So anyway, all right, folks, that's it for the live show. Take care, and I'll be back at you on Friday. Look for that agenda email in your inbox Wednesday evening for the What the Futures podcast. My name is Ryan, and I'm out.